Hello, my gorgeous darlings, my wonderful cherubs. This is my last video for you all before Christmas. If there's ever a reason to get the champagne out, it's now. You've got 3 weeks without me and my craziness and my unfilteredness. Obviously not if you're underage, because I don't want to get in trouble. You know, you have to wait till you're 18, darlings. Sorry. Anyway, I'm in my lovely Christmassy chalet, which I've done up, and I wish I could show you all of my trees because they're hanging with icicles and crystals and magical, wonderful, beautiful, beautiful things that all my rainbow kids come in and they touch them and explore them, and it's all sensory, nothing is off limits. And it's so beautiful to see their faces. And when I do the trees up, I know I sound like a crazy woman, but I actually lie down on my rug, which is right in the middle of the 4 trees, and look up through the trees so that I can see what it's like as an even littler person. And it's just, well, you know what? Magic never goes, it's everywhere if you know where to find it and how to make it. But anyway, as I say, this is my last video before Christmas, and what I'm sensing out there and from the people who I've spoken with over the last week is anxiety is really, really peaking. And it's funny because last Christmas, when we were more kind of locked down, people were still trying to make the best of it, and this year the anxiety feels much higher to me, and that's what I'm really getting from people. A lot of pressure, a lot of fear-based real, the atmosphere out there. People really flying off the handle at the tiniest of things, almost like they're ready to just kill someone. And or maybe that's just the effect I have. Maybe they've watched too many of my videos, who knows. But I'm just very aware that anxiety is peaking. Our suicide rate has soared. In the UK, we've got the highest suicide rate in the world, which is really, really alarming. And so I felt what would be fun to do is to really address this anxiety in a way that will also boost our immunity, boost our self-esteem and confidence, believe it or not, and promote calm, clarity, soothe the nervous system, and just try and tamper down these feelings of anxiety which we have. And the reason we can do this through yoga, as I've said many times, is because we're opening up our lungs. So it starts to help us breathe correctly. For those of us who have been really fear-based for a long time or under enormous stress, trauma, flight or fight, freeze, we can be reverse breathing, mouth breathing. We want to get the lungs to full capacity, because it's a bit like with pain, physical pain. If you can breathe through it properly and fill your lungs, it takes that edge off. So anxiety to me is a bit like the worst of labour pains, and you have a little bit of gas in there. And I'm really going off on one here. I'm ever so sorry. Do excuse me. This is me without alcohol. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the fun my family are in for Christmas? But we need to keep on top of it, is what I'm saying. And these simple things I'm going to share with you. The reason I'm sitting down to do yoga today makes a change from doing it in my Italian glass heels or, some other crazy footwear, because I'm dashing off somewhere and probably really annoying, serious, really yoga people out there. I do apologise. I'm really not taking the mickey out of anything. I just like to show it's accessible to everybody. No matter what, if you feel like doing it in a supermarket queue and you've got 6-inch heels on, do it. Go for it. If you make people smile, that's what it's all about. And I'm speaking from experience, by the way. I hope I haven't just put off all the parents who send their rainbow children to me, by the way. Sorry, I must behave. I don't know what's got into me this morning. So I'm doing it seated because, as well as being a lot of anxiety out there, a lot of people are really, really poorly. There's really nasty flu bugs going around. We've now got this new strand of COVID. For a lot of people, it feels never ending. So for those of you who are poorly in hospital, you've got cerebral palsy, you have reduced mobility for whatever reason, you're wheelchair bound, you can access this. And that's what my message is all about, because I know I'm a bit unfiltered and a little bit nuts, but my true message is, whatever your ability, disability, different ability, mobility, situation, financial situation, I want you all to be able to access me and these therapies for free. You know, I don't make anything from this. I do this just to drive you all nuts. No, I don't really. I do it. A, to reassure you you're not as insane as me, but B, you know, to share knowledge. It's the waiting list to see therapists are huge, you know, so you're not on your own is what I'm saying. You are not on your own through Christmas. And what I share is for everybody, regardless of you know, your situation. So the first one I'm going to show you is, it's really lovely. You just do simple circles with your arms. And I'm doing it sitting down because, as I say, if you're in hospital or you're in a wheelchair, you know, I want you to know you can do this. Obviously, if you are attached to a million drips, you don't want to turn it all into spaghetti. So you might need to leave this one out. But if you can get away with it, do it. Do it. Get the ward doing it. Get on a Christmas song and all do circles. And then you can go really crazy and do figure eights. Look at me. Look at this. Or you can do just one figure eight if you want. You could do it sideways. So you're really massaging the gut. You're getting up all that serotonin. 90% of our serotonin, the hormone of happiness, confidence, self-esteem, is in the gut. The enteric brain, the second brain. This is neuroscience, my darlings. Neuroscience. I bet you never knew it could be so crazy and so deliciously fun. And then you could do swaying trees. I do this one with I do with adults as well, actually. You know, we're all people. Age is just a number. We're just all people. And it's accessible to everybody, hopefully. But you just do it for as far as you can. Yoga should never hurt. And for goodness sake, remember to breathe, preferably in through your nose and out through your mouth while you do this. And again, you're massaging the gut, you're opening up the lungs. So it's encouraging that really healthy breathing that helps reduce pain, eases that nervous system. You know, you're massaging the gut, you're getting that dopamine up, my very, very favorite one. You know, the neurotransmitter of reward, concentration, focus, attention, drive, all those really fabulous higher brain functions. I love those so much. So it will really, really help you. The other thing you can do is an arm lift. So you're tilting your arm to the side. And again, you're opening up all your diaphragm and you're massaging that second brain, which is so important because our second brain, always do both sides in yoga. The second brain is also where we bottle up stuff. And I don't mean yesterday's McDonald's or something a bit stodgy. I'm talking about emotion. I'm talking about trauma. I'm talking about the seat of meltdown, where overwhelm just erupts from. So it's helping with all of those things. So if you have a child with additional needs or you have additional needs yourself, this is a really, really lovely one to do. If you're not mobile enough to do that one, or you don't like it, because it's courses for horses at the end of the day, isn't it? We all like different things, but try it all out because, you know, that's great fun. And then you can choose your favourites. You could do a seated twist. So that is where you put your hand on your knee. No, you don't. You put your hand behind you flat on the floor. I mean, I'm on a beanbag because I couldn't make the tripod midget enough. Couldn't do that. So, and you're just turning and touching your knee. So you're keeping your back nice and straight. So you've got that breath. You've got that lovely flow of breath, that vagus nerve, the biggest nerve of the central nervous system that's connecting the second brain to the first brain, having a big old chat all day long about how you're doing. They do, honestly, they do it, even behind your back when you don't know. It just does it automatically, you know. That's why it's in the autonomic nervous system. If you think of automatic, it's all the stuff our bodies don't do for themselves, which is 99% of what we do. You know, we don't sit there and think, I feel like growing an eyelash now. Oh, I must remember to breathe. Oh, I must digest my food. We don't do that. Our bodies take care of it because we're like little miracle jigsaws, perfectly put together. So when you just put your hand flat on the floor, I'm doing it on a beanbag so that you can see me, and your hand on your knee. And then you just turn and do the same thing, but you're keeping your backs as straight as you can. Now, obviously, if you have cerebral palsy or you're in a wheelchair a lot and it's really difficult to straighten your back, just do it as straight as you can. Yoga should never hurt. It really should never hurt. And you should always remember to breathe. So if you're doing those two things, you're doing it right. But you shouldn't feel like you've been to some massive gym workout or military, outing afterwards the next day. You should feel beautiful. Just beautiful, The next thing that you can do is lifting each knee to your forehead. And again, this depends on your mobility. So you can even do this sitting in a chair. You don't need to be sitting on the floor. You don't need to have a beanbag. You can be sitting on a chair. You could be sitting on public transport. That'll get them all wondering, won't it? And you just lift your knee to your head like that. And what you're doing is, yes, you know what you're doing. You're massaging that second brain. The dopamine, serotonin is going, yay. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas. So I'm getting carried away. And then you do the other side. Because it's really important to do both sides. I'm going to do it again. As if I need more serotonin or dopamine. I do actually. Believe it or not, I do. So I'm going to do that again. See, you just do that. Just lift your forehead. No, you don't lift your forehead. You lift your knee to your forehead. How can you lift your forehead? I need a cup of coffee. And then to finish, because I always think it's a bit like when I do massage or any of my therapies, if you've opened up the body, you need to close it down again. You need to feel safe. Or if you're working with somebody on a friends and family basis or as a therapist, you want to close them down afterwards, make them feel safe, let them feel held, and just bring everything down, bring that energy down. So I've got another beanbag in front of me and a cushion because I'm trying to make myself tall enough, and I've got this on the shortest setting, by the way. So normally in normal yoga, it would be a sandwich, but you just go as far as you can. So it's just like it's just like a seated forward bend. So you just literally, instead of trying to touch your toes, you just go as far as you can. Don't let your knees hurt. If your hamstrings or your legs start to hurt, stop there and go back a little bit to where it doesn't hurt, because it just means you can't get that far yet. I love the word yet. It's a really powerful word, yet. Never think you can't do anything. You just can't do it yet. And it's like anything. You just got to loosen up. You've got to just go with the flow. You just got to keep at it, keep practicing, and then you'll get there. But just a seated forward bend. And again, you're really massaging that serotonin and dopamine. And you will feel, honestly, it really does, eases and tames and calms and quietens the nervous system. And it boosts you in that serotonin and dopamine. And if you've been anxious for a long time, and I have been, that's really embarrassing. I'm always admitting things I shouldn't admit on YouTube. But yes, I'm a therapist, but I'm still a human being. I bleed, I bruise, I laugh, I cry, crying's difficult, but I laugh a lot. And I get cross sometimes, and we all bleed red, don't we? Whoever we are. So where was I going with that one? Yes, so I get anxiety. I suffer from anxiety, and it's been a particularly bad patch recently because of various different things, like so many of us, the worries are multi-layered often, aren't they? And so I have been doing a lot of yoga in the morning so that I can have what I've lost perhaps during the night when I haven't slept, because if we don't sleep at night, we've already used up all that serotonin. We get a daily quota of serotonin, believe it or not, and for those of us who our bodies don't produce enough naturally, obviously there's a place for medication. I'm not allowed to talk anybody out of that, and I wouldn't dream of it, because it's everybody's choice. There's a time and a place for everything. I've had to have medication in the past. There we go. That's another thing I shouldn't have said. But I'm being real. I understand is what I'm saying. This is why I'm waffling on today. It's because I do understand. I really, really do. What having anxiety is like. And I don't mean just having moments of anxiety. I mean suffering from anxiety. It's really crippling. It's horrible. So you know, for people who do produce enough dopamine every day, believe it or not, it's now neuroscientifically proven that we get a daily quota. Now, if you're very, very anxious and your sleep is disturbed, mine was really disturbed last night, I instantly knew when I woke up this morning, I'd used up my whole quota of serotonin already, believe it or not. So you can tell that I did a little bit of yoga before doing this video to get me ready for my day. It really, really helps, particularly if you do it on a regular basis. So with those things that I've shown you, you can do it as a little routine. You can just select the bits you like from it, try them all out, and the ones you're not so keen on, chuck it out. Don't worry, because I share loads. There's bound to be something else you'll like. Save the ones you do like. You could put them into yoga stories. You know, if you're working with a child with additional needs or anxiety or mental health issues, you could put them into songs. You could put them into a lucky dip. You could put it into a board game where every time you get a counter home, you get to do a yoga pose. Or, do you know what I mean? Play with it. Have fun with it. Don't stick to rules. There are no rules. There's too many rules in life. You need to explore what feels and works perfectly for you. That's what I would really love you to do. And when I share therapies with families, schools, charities, organisations, wherever it is I go, I say the same to them. Take what I share with you, but have fun with it. Meet the child where they are. Meet yourself where you are, you know, and have fun with it. For goodness sake, if you're not having fun, then it's a drag, isn't it? And also, if you're having fun, instantly your bodies are making 16% more serotonin straight away. So it's powerful. It's neuroscientifically proven. So, you know, explore, experiment, be in those poses, enjoy them, feel the difference it makes to your bodies and your minds. And above all, I wish you a really, really, really gorgeous Christmas. Like a lot of people, I'm having a fairly quiet one. Well, actually, that's impossible for me. I even talk in my sleep, apparently, and laugh. That's a bit creepy, actually, isn't it? When my daughter told me that, I actually had to sleep with the light on because I was scared of me. Only for 3 nights. But you know what I mean. Christmas is quite small for a lot of people. But, you know, look out for each other. Look after each other. It doesn't need to be an all singing, all dancing, you know, switch off the news. I know that sounds awful. I said it last year. Sorry. Switch it off. Have a couple of days off. And if you can, rest. And for those of you who have to work through Christmas, you know, one of my sons is having to, you know, and those in National Health Service, doctors, policemen, you know, good on you. Thank you for looking after us all during this time. And I just hope you manage to enjoy Yuletide, Christmas, however you celebrate it, in whichever way you celebrate it. And just grab hold of each other and hug. Hug. Sorry, but yes, hug. Do a bit of yoga. Get the serotonin and dopamine going. And I shall see you in the new year, 2022. Hasn't it flown by this year? I cannot believe we're going to be in 2022. Anyway, take care, darlings. Lots of love. Thank you for putting up with me this year. And if you can think of anybody who can bear the unfilteredness that is me, because they don't come with a filter. Obviously, I just thought I'd mention that for those of you who have missed it or watching it for the first time. But there's a lot of sense behind what I say. Pass it on. Pass it on. You know, give me a little thumbs up now and again. Because when I see them, even if there's only 5, I get so unbelievably excited. I'm like a cartwheeling 3-year-old. You've no idea. I'm terrified one of my children is going to video it and put it on Facebook or something. Anyway, if you want to know more about the poses I've shared with you today, I'm Anna Kennedy's Charity Wellbeing Ambassador. She might want to fire me after this mad video. But you can log on to annakennedyonline.com, and I've written an article about the science behind what I've shared with you today, and also the actual poses. So if you want to print them off freely, you know, there's no copyright on that. You help yourselves, print them off, make them into games. See how you go with them. Have fun. And have fun over Christmas. And take care. Stay safe, everybody. We are all in this together. And I'm not letting go of any of you. I'm like a blimmin' barnacle. And I shall see you in the new year. Bye-bye, darlings. Bye-bye. Lots of love.